think that's worked. Okay. So yeah, for some people, it's as simple as why are people just not buying what we're selling? Like, and you'll hear the age-old story on this. So if you see me looking all over the place, I look mental, I know. That's because you guys here on Instagram, you're here on TikTok, and then you guys are on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe. I think that's it. So we're talking a bit today about some of the stuff that I've seen over the space, especially the last couple of months. And I'm not going to name names, but I've had a couple of instances now of people that have been really struggling to get out of a rut within their business. And it's understandable because there's a lot going on. It's quite overwhelming. Obviously, the UK feels like we've lost free speech. Feels like we're on the edge of civil war. There's a lot of stuff going all across the world. There are wars going on. There's strains on the economy. There's cost of living crisis, blah, 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 blah. There's so much stuff going on. And because it's consuming all of our feeds, good morning, Colin, morning, Grey Marketer, morning, Coach, Marina, morning, Lewis, morning, Beverly. I think it's becoming really hard for people to get laser beam focus on what they're doing, and it's taking our attention. And whatever's got our attention is where our focus is, and wherever our focus is what we're doing. And for a lot of us out there at the moment, we're taking our eye off the ball a little bit about what we're doing and what we should be doing. And I'm seeing this more and more with smaller companies, especially when it's founder-led. So we work with roofers, we work with plumbers, we work with solar companies, we work with coaches, consultants, experts, people that are founder-led sales in recruitment. And the reason being that they're struggling more than ever is because they're wearing all the hats. So they are the chef, the waitress, the bottle washer every single day. And they're not in a position where they can manage to employ a full-time member of staff to take on some of that strain. And so they end up just on this weird little hamster wheel that is just continuously spinning. And it makes it really hard for people to actually know, well, what do I do now? And what they're doing is just end up being in almost a reactive state to problems, pain points, issues, and hurdles, instead of planning for what they're trying to do and executing to a high standard. Now, if you've been stuck in the same place, it is completely normal, but it seems a lot worse at the moment because there's so much mad stuff going on in the world. The big thing we've got to focus on at the moment is, if I asked each and every one of you to show me your calendar on what's planned in and what's booked in for today, how organized actually is it? And it's one of the things I talk to a lot of people about. A lot of people seem to end up thinking or putting generating revenue as a really low end priority on a day-to-day basis. And it's almost, I'll get round to that type of way rather than, by the way, if anyone's got any questions, pop them in the chat and hang around. I will come around to them. That's on Insta, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah, and so a lot of people are getting caught up with that the revenue generating activities are in the business, although they want revenue, they're not being as purposeful as they should be within the business consistently on a day-to-day basis that's working. And the time that they are spending trying to generate revenue isn't as effective as they would actually want it to be. And the problem that we've got is we just automatically start thinking that more time passing is just going to be the solution. But it's really not. And this is why a huge amount of business is collapsing. Because what people are doing is they're thinking the fact of it'll be okay, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. But businesses don't die in one gunshot. They slowly drown over time. And that's because of the activities that are being done consistently on a day-to-day basis to a high enough standard. And so if you're sat there now and you're thinking, yeah, okay, but it'll get better in 3 months. You'll get better next quarter. It's going to be good in December. It's going to be good in January. If it's not been good for the last 6 months, you cannot just let time pass thinking it's automatically going to get better. And by the way, this isn't about you working with me. We have far too many leads at the moment. It's more about the fact that people seem to have this blinkered view. And I've got 3 people over the space of last week the team have been talking to who are great people, and they've got a really good business, but they are really pushed because their business is slowly drowning, and they know it's drowning, and they'll say things like, oh, well, we don't have the cash flow to fix it. But the cash flow is actually the toothache that they've got within their business. And they're like, okay, once we've got rid of the toothache, I'll go to the dentist. And the problem is, and this isn't about working with me, that doesn't work. Just sitting, hoping that things are going to get better. But there is some good news with this. If you think about in the whole of history, go back to 500 BC, whatever timeline you want, and you wanted to set up a business and you wanted to succeed and you wanted to thrive, although it can feel right now like it's really hard, there's actually never been a better time for someone, and it's never been easier for someone to set up a business. But I think that's also the hurdle, because for a lot of people out there, because it's so easy to set up a business, because it's so easy to set up a side hustle, because you can get this all set up for under 150 quid, a lot of people haven't invested enough time and effort to get it to work in the right way. So we're sort of guessing what to do, when to do, and how to do it. We're guessing through frameworks. We're guessing what to do. I had a guy yesterday, and we were talking about how you close a deal. And he's like, oh, I just go on how it feels in the moment. And I was like, well, are you trained in psychology? He's like, no. Have you gone to university and studied, like, I don't know, human behavior? He's like, no, I just go off my gut feeling. I'm like, but your gut feeling isn't always right. And often it's not at all. We're just going off how we feel, and we feel based off of the energy we're getting someone else. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're ready to buy our product or service. It really doesn't. They could really like you and not do business with you. On the flip side, they can fucking hate you and still do business with you. I've worked with loads of people in my time that I am not friends with. But do you know what? They're an absolute expert at what they do. I had a surgeon years ago, had a cancer scare. I had to go for surgery. And my doctor, the surgeon, was a real arse. Like a real arse. But he's a great surgeon. And I'm going to be asleep for the surgery anyway. So it's not like we're chatting. So I still used that surgeon, even though I didn't like him, because he was a great surgeon. And a lot of people getting caught up in the business and just trying to make friends. I'm thinking, if I'm friendly, I'm just nice, I'm kind, I'm polite, that's going to mean my business is going to thrive. Now, yes, you can generate leads that way, but it doesn't mean you're going to generate revenue. Now, I'm also not saying be an arse, but don't assume just because you're having nice conversations. Don't assume just because you get on with people. Don't assume just because you're friendly. Don't assume just because some people like you that they're going to want to buy from you. I've got so many of my friends, and you guys might be the same with this. Put it in the comments if you are. But you've got great friends that you love dearly, but you wouldn't go into the business with them. And a lot of the time out there, we seem to sit in this place where we're guessing our way into what we want to do. We're waking up today. It's Tuesday. It's the 9th of the 9th. And they're going into the business, and we're going into our life, and we're going in, and we're just hoping that revenue comes in. We're hoping that deal converts. We're hoping that they say yes. We're hoping that all this stuff happens. And it's crazy. We can't spend all our lives just hoping that the thing that pays the mortgage, that puts clothes on your kids' back and food in their belly, is going to come to a high standard consistently through hope. You guys got to develop the skills and the systems and the processes. And actually, it means you can make more money and actually work less. But our main program, and again, this isn't me trying to get you to work with us, but our program is called Conversations to Clients. And the problem is a lot of people are having big conversations, but they don't convert into clients. And the goal between what we do is help people converse in a better way so that they have more conversations that convert into clients. And the whole goal with this, the whole goal of your business, and the reason you charge for your products and for your services, is your goal is trying to make money. Yeah, you might want impact. Yeah, you might want all that stuff. But the reason you charge is because you're trying to make money. So you've got to be at the stage, whether that's Taylor, Harlan, Richard, Jay, whether that's you, Chris, or Babs, or Hacken, you've got to be at the stage now that we are going into this with a purpose. Now, this isn't strong arming people into twisting their arm up their back to buy your product or service. Yes, go out there with the idea of helping people, but not just to talk to people, not just randomly have random conversations and hope that things just fall into place. Because we're at the stage now that as times get a bit harder, when things get a bit tougher, the squeeze goes into business. And for the last 4 or 5 years, it has been really easy to close deals. It has been really easy. There's been big budgets. People are spending more now than they were before. People are happy to spend money. Where now people are a little bit more reserved. Looks like we're going into civil war. You've got all the wars that are going on across the world, and it's in our face all the time on social media. So a lot of the people that you're selling to, a lot of your prospects, a lot of your buyers, morning Oscar, are nervous and they're scared, or they've just got a high level of uncertainty. And if you think about all the people within your industry, from the absolute novices to the absolute experts, the people that are at the very top, the professionals, the people that are skilled, the people that are really over delivering, they're going to thrive. Who do you think is going to struggle? Do you think the people at the top that have got all the skills, that are working on themselves, that are really deliberately going out every single day with the intention of making a difference are going to be struggling? Or do you think the people that are lucking and hoping into their business surviving, that are just hoping someone buys from them? And the reason I bring this up is sales gets a really, really bad rap, and rightfully so. There's a lot of really terrible people out there. But what I want you guys to think about, and this is more of a practical side, is when you're going out and having these conversations, just because someone is remotely interested in your product or service doesn't mean they are going to buy. And for someone to go from I'm remotely interested into becoming a buyer, you want to imagine there's like a switch inside of them. And that switch has to click to go from interested party into potential buyer. And if you're not at the stage now, but you are actively, proactively, intentionally helping people to click that switch, you're going to keep getting stuck at the I'm having loads of conversations, but I'm not generating revenue. And again, this isn't about pressure. It's about building people up. It's helping people understand. And you want to think about a couple of different areas. You want to think about, for example, beliefs, misconceptions, fears, knowledge. All of these are barriers and building blocks that get built up in a wall between you and your prospect for them to make a buying decision. It really makes a massive difference. And for you guys out there now, when someone's going from I'm interested in your product, or I've got a degree of pain in my life I want to fix and your product might help it, for them to go, that's an interesting idea, to them, I want to, I need to, I must spend my money on this product, you need to imagine that switch has to click. So for that switch to click, what's got to happen? They might need to have an epiphany moment where they're like, oh, that makes sense now. Maybe it's a fact, thanks, Marsh. Maybe it's the fact that they need to have a change in their beliefs. Maybe there's a belief that they have and they're not quite sure why they believe it. It might well be the fact that their knowledge isn't quite high enough for where they need to make a buying decision. They might have the wrong knowledge. They might have the wrong beliefs. We've all got people that are in our lives, or we've had people in our lives that are really articulate at explaining things. And because we are inexperienced in that area, you borrow their beliefs. You inherit their beliefs. It wasn't an intentional thing. You just did it. And your prospects are exactly the same. And you need to understand in your business, just because you work hard, just because you've gone out and put all this time in, just because you know you're trustworthy, just because you know that you're committed to your clients, does not mean that your prospects believe that that is the same. Like half the tour for you guys out there at the moment is going out and having the right conversations for what you're doing. Be at the stage now where you're actually deliberately trying to help people get a better understanding for them. And it shouldn't be about whether someone buys from you or doesn't buy from you. Before you get to the stage of whether someone buys from you, you guys want to be at the stage now where first get them make a decision on whether your product or your service is a fit. And then once they're at that stage, who they're going to buy from. This is where so many people mess up in sales. They're just like, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. And they don't want to look at what the alternate could be. We have it with so many people that go on calls with us where we'll be like, you're not at the stage for us. Can I introduce you to this guy? We're not at the stage for you now, or we're not a fit for you. If we introduce you to this person, would that help? What you need to do is go and talk to this ad agency and not work with us at the moment because you just need leads. And we're not afraid to give up that business now, because our goal is to make sure if someone has an interaction with us, they get the progression that they need. And because we're doing that in an intentional way, people will get better results. But we're also then not pressuring people to buy them from us. It shouldn't just be when you talk to someone that you are the best solution for them on every occasion, because we're not. The amount of people that you talk to that could probably be better off with someone else. And that's just a real conversation. You guys have to realize that. And people are now, buyers are more overwhelmed than they've ever been. There's so many different people that are out there. Like we're doing this now. This isn't with me trying to get you to buy our product or service. It is merely me turning up and talking about some of the stuff we're talking with our clients about. And over time, as you get more exposed to that, you might well find yourself wanting to reach out. And that's okay. And you might have a shift in belief or knowledge or awareness. You might overcome a fear or a hurdle or be activated, and that switch might click for you. And you go, okay, Dave's for me. But on the flip side, you might watch this content and go, Dave is definitely not for me. And that's okay too. And if you find you hate me, you would never buy from me, don't watch the content. And I'm not saying that in a horrible way, but there's only so many people that you guys can watch on a day-to-day basis. And if you genuinely feel Dave will not be the person for me to help, don't watch it. Take me out of your bubble and replace me with someone else that could be the fit. That's actually what the goal should be. And this is why turning up on social media, turning up on lives, it is not trying to convert every single person to buy from us. It's finding the people that actually are aligned with the way I work, that do things in a way that you resonate with, hate the word, but you know what I mean, so that you can actually move forward. And if you watch this and you go, actually, this was terrible, I hate him, go to unfollow, get rid of me and go, okay, he's now not the person for me. I am now going to go and find someone else to pay attention to learn to listen to, that could help me with my business overcome the problems I've got. And as you grow and as your business grows, people will leave and new people will come in. I watch people now and they're listening to 35, 40 different people. And what we're trying to do is pick out little bits from each person. And they're trying to mash it all together, which is fine. And it might work, but it probably won't. In the same way now, if we get 20 top chefs in a kitchen, they've all got slightly different ways they might do certain things. And you could mix it all together, but actually following one person's method is smarter than just mixing it all together, especially if you're looking at people that have got a skill set that you're trying to inherit. So it's really important to look at. Now, it doesn't mean that every business is going to succeed, but the majority of businesses out there that fail from too many sales is pretty slim. So if you're at the stage now where you go, okay, cool, listening to Dave, this makes sense, I want to help. Cool, go and do one of the free trainings. And if that hits the switch, if that clicks the switch, if that gets you to where you want to help, amazing, reach out. On the flip side, if you realize that it completely does the opposite and you really don't like the way we do it, replace me in your life with someone else that can get you those results. We were watching the other day, everyone probably watched Alex Hormozi's world-breaking book launch. Amazing. And someone said to me, did you watch it? And I was like, no. And not because I can't learn from Alex Hormozi. 100% I can. But we've also got a plan for this year that's working really, really well. So I'm not looking to adjust that at the moment. We won't be looking until probably November to January on the evidence and the data of where we're at and what we're doing and what that next step's going to be. And you're always going to have new things coming out. If you searched online today, some new founded thing that's come out, everyone's going to be doing it. And there's always going to be that new thing that comes out, but get a path, get a plan, one that you believe in, one you're completely 100% sold on, and go all in. Like, go all in on one plan consistently over time. Don't keep jumping the second something new comes out. Don't jump the second you hear something that's easier, because it still takes work. It still takes effort. It still takes time. And this is why for a lot of people out there at the moment, they're going on this loop of struggle with their revenue. Because if I'll give you a prime example, I get probably 5 to 10 copywriters a day that message me. 5 to 10. Imagine if every time a copywriter messaged me, or one a day, imagine if I said no to 4 and on the 5th one I hired them. I'd be getting a new set of copy wrote every single day, because there's always new people telling me that my copy could be better. This is the whole point with what we're talking about here. We've really got to make sure that we are moving forward with our business with full intention. We want to make sure we are doing things really, really in the right way. And if you're stuck with what you're doing now, find a plan that you're going to go all in with and fully commit for the next 3 months. Give it its real best chance. And if for the last 3 months you've been doing something that hasn't been working, go and find why that didn't work. Was it the other person? Was it you? Was it a bit of everything? Or maybe it was just the fact of what they did was right, but you just didn't want to learn it in that way. It didn't get delivered in the way you want. Because that's a lot of this as well. A lot of the time now, we've got to be at the stage where we are finding what we want in the way we want it, or we've got to be prepared to sacrifice stuff. Right, I've got to go because I've got a call at 8:30. Go and have a good day today. Thanks for dropping by. We are intentionally trying to do more leads now. We've hired more people because we've got a bit more time. So keep tuning in. And if you need anything, reach out. Cheers, guys. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum.